So then, to our location report. The film is the oddly named Raining Stones, and the director is Ken Loach, perennial maverick and scourge of the establishment. He it was who made the politically incorrect Hidden Agenda, which dared to suggest a shoot-to-kill policy in Northern Ireland, and which, despite winning a prize at Cannes, is still so taboo that, as I know, any favourable mention of it evokes furious letters from outspoken loyalists who don't want their names mentioned. Loach, I fancy, is unrepentant. Political and social controversy is grist to his mill. And in Raining Stones, he and writer Jim Allen, who also wrote Hidden Agenda, are at it again. We spent a day with them on location up in the northwest.
This particular story is about life on a northern council estate. It's about an unemployed family struggling for survival with dignity. And the struggle of these people, not just the estate I'm writing about, but the working class in general, it shows the face behind the statistics, the day-to-day struggle, again the lack of leadership, again no sense of direction, against despair. But there's also some very funny stuff in the film too.
Come on, get out!
We wanted to do a film about the hardship the people have suffered over the last few years, but with a sense of their resilience and capacity to fight back with a sense of humour. And also to acknowledge that people have aspirations beyond the putting food on the table and a roof over their heads. That there's some quality in the human spirit which doesn't get broken. And actually the people have to hang on to something beyond the material sometimes.
The actors, most of whom we've cast locally from local acts, local entertainers of one sort or another, don't have the whole script. They get given pages at a time, so that very often they will go through the experience of what the character is experiencing on that day.
When I get the scripts, I have a quick read of it, learn it in the time I get, and then go in and do it. The element of surprise is there all the time. I've learnt now with Ken, if you get a script, your sheet, if it's half blanks out, there's something happening. So that way I've cut and done.
Ken's method, which I approve, is, especially with non-actors, when you work in the community, then you use people in the community, because a good face is worth a page of dialogue, yeah? And the very simple rule of thumb method is that the actors will speak the lines I've written. And then if the lines have generated something inside that person and they want to continue, we say, fine, carry on. And that gives it that kind of reality. The film Hidden Agenda, in this country, in terms of how it was received, it hardly saw the light of day. The hostilities of the film, the organised demonstration in Cannes, led by, I think, Alexander Walker, got a group of journalists, British journalists, who then marched up to the director of the festival and demanded that this film be removed. It did not represent Britain. And thankfully, the president of the festival committee told them to get lost.
To be applauded by Alexander Walker when you're dealing with Ireland would be a mark of shame. So I was very pleased that he disliked it, otherwise we wouldn't have hit the target. But I think by and large, the critics have been very generous to the films that I've worked on and that we've made together. And this certainly helps enormously with Riff Raff.
Well, Riff Raff was quite interesting because it took us quite a long time to get it funded. I think people felt that a political film, however funny, was sort of slightly outdated. And then it went off to Cannes and it won a prize, best film out of competition. And suddenly everyone thought, oh, well, maybe it has got a chance, and it started to show, though it never got the kind of airing here that it did in Europe. In Europe, it's done tremendously well and ran for about 6 months in Paris. As you know, picked up the European Film of the Year award.
What I'm looking for is social change. I'm not saying that films can create social change, but they can perhaps get people thinking. And then this vast avalanche of crap that we often see, I think there is place for the film that blows the whistle and says, this we don't have to accept.
You know, despite, or maybe because of the fuss caused by a hidden agenda, and perhaps proving that the French love nothing better than tweaking the lion's tail, Raining Stones has been selected for the official competition at the Cannes Film Festival later in the month. That should certainly enliven proceedings down there.